What is good, y'all? This is Courtney, and tonight I have with me my best friend, Thea, aka the Cool Below. Introduce yourself, sis.
Hello, everybody. This is the Cool Below, and I'm on here to talk to my best friend for how long is Nancy? 20
Don't
years,
even don't
man.
don't don't do us. Don't
20
do us.
years.
Don't do us. Let's not. Let's not. A couple of decades. Let's just say it was a couple of decades.
We don't put the work in.
Yeah, we have put the work in. We have put the work in. Now, as I told y'all before, about a week or so ago, I published my first book, a
Yay.
novella. After years of fighting writer's block and every piece of devil shit there was, I was
Mhm.
able to drop it. Title Engine by Stella J. And my best friend, she finished reading it when
2 nights ago.
yeah, and she got questions. So so she wanted to do a Q&A of sorts. Now, like, okay. So she got her paper, she got her notes, she
Hmm
has her
hmm
wine.
That's right.
And so, yeah, she finna ask me some questions. Oh my God. Okay.
So, Courtney,
Oh Lord.
first I want to say I am so proud of you
Thank you.
for dropping this. I'm gonna call it a teaser. I'm gonna call it a teaser. Um, on for the culture. I'm gonna say you did it for the culture because I
Oh,
think that this is definitely something that is timely. I think it's something that we needed to hear. We needed something to get a break from all the madness that's happening right now.
mm.
So, because we've been friends since Jerry Curls and Jelly Beans,
Oh, really,
um,
bro? Really? Really? You Jerry curls and jelly beans. Oh my God. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I can't believe you did that,
Jerry
bro.
Curls and Jelly Beans, I wanted to ask you. I was thinking about it today, and I was like,
Hmm.
when did Courtney really started to write? I remember it happening in high school, but
Hmm.
I believe that it was much sooner. And it would be really great. I think everyone needs to get that contest. And when did you know that you really had the gift for storytelling?
I guess I knew about it when Keisha, she used to come down every summer when we was kids.
Hmm
And I think like when we was getting older, probably around 11, 12, I would tell her stories.
hmm
And she would sit there and every time she would like, tell me a story, Courtney, tell me a story. And I would just tell her stories right off the top of my head. So I would tell her these stories and she would ask all these questions and all of that, and I was just a storyteller. And come to find out that my grandma, her dad, her dad was a storyteller. He told
hmm
stories. He would have people come visit him every day, and he would sit on the porch and he would just tell, like all about his adventures and things of that matter, and all the craziness that happened when, he was younger, and his his life story,
hmm
it's a mess. It's crazy. And I remember grandma used to tell me stories of her growing up and the craziness that happened, during that era. So I guess, it's certain traits that's hereditary. You get me?
hmm
So I think I got that trait from them, you know.
hmm
Like you remember like when we was in high school, you remember I wrote that I was writing with D. I think it was D
hmm
and Tamika. And it was like you remember back then, New York Undercover was the shit, right? So we were watching
That's
New York
right.
Undercover,
Yes,
and
sir.
so I did fanfic before I even knew what was fanfic. I didn't even know that was fanfic back then. I didn't even know there was a genre for that back then. But I did three stories of three sisters and all that stuff, and it had the characters from New York on the cover, and I wrote it in notebooks and
Yeah.
all of that. You know, I had stopped
Yeah.
for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
for like a few years after I graduated. But all in all, I would still tell stories. I would still had notebooks where I would just write and jot shit down. So it never really left me. It was just,
Mm-hmm.
life happened, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So when when I moved back home from New Orleans and I was dealing with, all the shit that went down in New Orleans and and everything like that, I just started back writing. And then I posted it on the chamber and stuff, and I just started back. Now I had years of writer's block. Writer's block is a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Real
is the
shit.
devil.
Real
You hear
shit.
me? And it could drive you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a long battle, but I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised that I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was. I
Yeah.
was like, listen, it's 2020. Listen, you hear what's going on? They finally admitted that, guess what? Area 51. Yeah, that shit up in there is real and everything. All the stuff that's going on this year. Why the hell not?
That is true. That's absolutely true. And I'm
And
glad you.
and
Go
I
ahead,
think
Courtney.
my bad. I think I psyched myself out so much, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like, well, girl, you're not good. Girl, you're not like the others. Girl, this girl, that. And here's the thing, I'm real good friends with some great writers. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like, I call one of them my baby sister and everything. Bruh, she wins awards. You know what I'm saying? She's magnificent in her shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how she just said, "I'm waiting on you to stop playing."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I had to basically tell my doubt to fuck off.
Mm.
And I think like what was going on with my mom, like and all that stuff. It seemed like I was almost fighting to get something, cause it seemed like the night that I was getting ready to publish it, everything was going wrong.
Yeah. I remember.
You remember I told you that? I was like, girl, am I fighting the fucking devil or some shit? What
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? And I was like, if it don't happen now, it ain't gonna fucking happen. And I just went on and did it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I was surprised, I was shocked and all that. And I had to come to terms, like, I was like, bitch, you did it.
Mm-hmm. You did. You did. You did. And you've gotten a lot of love and support from everybody. Because I think you realize that everybody been waiting. Like, okay, when is this gonna happen? Been waiting, but I'm glad you. I think it's great that you are being so transparent around the self doubt, the writer's block, the challenges with being confident enough about putting this form of expression out for the whole world to consume.
Mm.
So I wonder if the reason why, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, if the way you channel your artistic expression through writing, how cathartic is it for you?
It's very cathartic.
When did you start being cathartic though, Courtney? Was it something because you told me that you started telling stories to shout out to Keisha when you were young, but when did it become a form of catharticism, of therapy, of getting your creative expression out? When did it become that for
when I felt like that was the only voice I had left.
you?
Cause I used to draw.
Yeah, you still draw. What you talking about?
And I just started back kind of recently. But
Mm-hmm.
it came to the point that it seemed like I almost forgot how to draw.
Mm-hmm.
And and you hear, they say, well, God give you a gift. You don't use it, He'll take it away. And I honestly believe that's what had happened. But with me, I always been a daydreamer. I always daydream. I was always living in my head, different type of fantasy lands and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people call that daydreaming. Nowadays, it might be called something else. But I think with dealing with what happened, in my life and all that stuff, it became cathartic when I was using what had happened to me when dealing with certain shit. When I put that in my writing and I threw that pain on that paper, and it no longer held control over me.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
get me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when it became almost a therapy in a sense. And that's when like shit have happened in life, and then I write about it, and then solutions will come from it, or a different way of seeing the situation will come from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, okay, so like with one story, one of the free stories I did, when I was starting back writing and all this stuff, one of the characters, she had lost a child, and she couldn't it was stated that she wouldn't be able to have any more kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking that situation coming from me, and I was giving that pain I had life and a character. And even though, the outcome was different, the outcome benefited the story, but the outcome made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like almost like you have a control over a situation that in reality is really kind of out of your hands.
Mm-hmm.
At least I have control over this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Like you can rewrite your own history, kind of, sort of, or your own
Yeah,
timeline. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I know some people like they write because listen, it's money in it. It's certain genres to make that money. And I ain't knocking you. True enough, cause listen, I know a couple genres I'm finna tiptoe in, and I knew.
That's right.
That's where that coin is at. But like certain stories, it just ain't for that. Certain story is for the journey of the story. It's for the journey of the characters in the story. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
always love the supernatural. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I always have. And so even back then when I was a kid and I was used to tell Keisha these stories, it had all the weird shit in it. You know what I'm saying? All the witches and the creatures and all that stuff like that. And I was telling stories like that back then. So I think it's only natural that my writing will have that same element in it. It just
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
reflect on what happened to me. I reflect on certain situations that happened in my life. You know what I'm saying? Certain
Right.
things I have experienced and certain things I have seen. So that comes with it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that is important for you to provide that context to people so they can understand exactly, your writing, the flow of it, um, the ebbs and flows of your writing when they start getting into it. For people who are new to, for people who are already accustomed to how you write, how you put together stories. So I'm just gonna let's jump into the story. So the story is called Engine,
Yeah.
and I want to go straight into, from my perspective,
Okay.
the first character that shows up in the story. And for
All right.
me, the first character that shows up in the story is the nighttime.
Hmm.
And it's the nighttime
Hmm.
because the whole story takes place at night. I don't see a part where day breaks. It's like everything takes place at night, or there is this dark imagery throughout the entire story,
Mhm.
which I know it adds to the mood and the mystery and the supernatural elements that's in the story, right? But
Mhm.
I want you to talk about the character Nighttime as being a character in the story, because it really does. When you read the story, the Nighttime, you give it sound, you give it a
Mhm.
voice, it shapes, and it kind of describes the mood, it describes the characters, it describes the intimate scenes, it describes everything. So break down, why do you use nighttime or that type of imagery throughout the story the way you did? See,
I
nigga, I
said,
told you I read the shit.
what? Hell yeah, bro! You read this? I'm like, girl, I thought you were gonna talk about sister girl. You said, "Night." I said,
Oh,
"What?"
we gonna get into that heifer in a second, honey. So,
Okay, so nighttime. Yes, nighttime is a prominent character in this story, and
hmm
being with this book series, nighttime really gonna be a main character. It's gonna have its own entity.
hmm
You know, uh, you know, us humans, we are very scared of the dark
yeah.
because it's unknown. Because we don't know what's in there watching us and the shadows and things of that nature.
hmm
You know, night is his own monster.
Mm.
Night, darkness is uncertainty. Darkness is a stranger. With darkness, we are totally blind and we are totally vulnerable. But with this story, it just basically here's our characters who are used to the darkness.
hmm hmm
They could walk out and, they just know what's what because they do their business in the darkness. And the darkness is very much a part of them, especially with Sharon, his
hmm
character. So I wanted darkness to be a major part because the story is urban fantasy and there's a little bit of horror in it, and guess what, the darkness is fun. It took a minute, it took many years for me to be comfortable in the darkness
hmm
because I was definitely afraid of it, and I had to accept the fact that it's his own person. It lives,
hmm
it breathes, it have its own ecosystems and all that. And you basically see with the beginnings, when you hear about the whole coyotes, they
hmm
they holler, they howl, they talk. You can hear about how the nighttime feel, the thickness in the atmosphere. Does it feel muggy? Does it have weight and all? And how light affects the darkness. Do the darkness fight against the light or whatever? And I think, I don't know, it just seemed like when you normally hear about, darkness being a character and all that stuff, it's all about what's hiding behind their monsters, evil, and all that stuff like that. You don't really hear about it saying like it's just a normal occurrence of how life is
hmm
and all like that. And dealing with, the location, and especially when get further along in the series, when you learn more about the city and all, and how it's his own monster and all that stuff like that, you'll get to understand more and more about it.
I think that's interesting that you talked about how darkness, there's vulnerability. People hide things in the darkness. And what I thought that was really interesting about the characters was that Beth, who is the courier, and then the Fedora man or Sharon,
Hmm.
they are hiding. They're they live and they exist it wide open in at night in the
Hmm.
darkness. But they are also hiding their passion for each other.
Hmm.
Um, it brings me to one of the things you said that Sharon says to Beth. You said, when are you gonna stop being tired? Or aren't you tired? Aren't you tired?
Are you tired of running?
Yes, are you tired? And you don't, Beth doesn't share what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she asks him, when you gonna get tired of asking me that, he doesn't say anything. So it's they're hiding things. Although they live wide open in the darkness, they're still hiding stuff in the darkness. How
Mm-hmm.
did you how did you conflate those two? Because with you saying with these supernatural beings that lives and they roam at night, the night is their home, but they also hide in the darkness. I'm really interested in how did you kind of, I don't know. How did you balance that? Because that's really that's that I thought that was one of the most interesting ways that you wrote it. Is that these people that own the night, that roam in the night? Because when she's walking down the street, I was scared to death. I was like, somebody gonna get this girl because she was walking down the street. She talking about she got heels on, she got a bag of money on her. She's walking down the street. I immediately like
She
jumped
had
in the
her
car
magic
and
light
got out.
ball. She had a magic light ball.
Yeah, but like you said, but as humans, we are afraid of the dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
they're not. But they still hide stuff in the dark. How did you balance that? Because that's really, really, really intricate, and it really takes some really clever writing to be able to do that.
Because regardless of how many centuries Beth has lived, she still got some of humanity. And
That's good.
regardless
That's
how
good.
long she may live on this plane or on that plane of existence, some parts of it still gonna stick. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and even with him, and like we really don't know how old he is.
No.
You know, and he's way older than her and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff like that. But for him being old as eternity, he still have some aspects of that humanity that he lost all those millennia ago.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's deep, Courtney. I thought the way you created complexity around that was really, really genius. I really like the way you did that.
Thank
But
you.
that you are welcome. So the other thing I wanted to ask you, just to piggyback off that a little bit,
Hmm.
um, and I think I probably jumped ahead a little bit too quickly. Probably be
Well,
good if you tell the viewers, give them like a rundown about what the story is, because I'm talking about Beth and all this stuff, and people are like, what the heck I talking about? So give the quick and dirty about what the story is. And then after you do that, I want you to break down what a who Beth is as this courier, and
hmm,
then who Sharon is as the ferryman,
Fedora man.
as the fedora man. So break
Okay,
down those characters. So we'll
okay.
just set the whole story up, and then we'll keep it moving with the story.
All right, pimpin'. Okay, engine. It's basically talking
But
about
don't give them
one.
too much, Courtney. Don't want
I ain't
everybody
gonna
to
give him
hear
too much, girl. It's about one night. This
it.
one night that this courier has delivering a token to her ferryman. And let's just say all hell breaks loose. The night goes wrong, and we see what happens
Hmm.
that fateful night. And what happens that fateful night will start off a chain of events.
Hmm. Hmm.
Y'all gonna have to forgive me. Y'all hear my dog? She's raging.
Yeah.
Uh, Beth. Beth is a courier.
Hmm.
She's a courier for the ferryman. The ferryman.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm gonna break it down, Greek or Roman theology,
Yeah. Break it down then.
Charon
Come on.
is the ferryman of the river Styx.
Hmm. Come on now.
He will take the souls on, so they go wherever they need to go
Come on
and all
now.
that stuff, whether it be in the good place or the neither. So yeah, I'm taking some of that.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
in that reality, the people they have, if you die, you can get a choice of where your soul wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
You can either
Mm-hmm.
go to a decent hell, a nice upper level hell, or you could basically, if you got the coin, if you got something that means so much to your being, you can use it as leverage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the courier's job is to deliver that to the specific ferryman.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that breakdown, Courtney.
You're
Appreciate that,
welcome.
love. But you know what? I'm gonna go back to the darkness again
Mm,
because I'm gonna go back to New Orleans. That you hear the music of New Orleans in the story, right?
yes, it's in
New
Louisville.
Orleans, New Orleans. You always, I thought you were always cognizant to always put your stories majority in the South. It's in Mississippi. It's New Orleans.
Mhm.
What is the reason why you always put it in the South? Is it because of the origin of where you received where you knew of the where your gift got nourished because it was in Mississippi, or what is your fascination with the South, with especially
Cause
those
I'm
two states?
Southern, and I fucking love
I
being Southern.
heard that.
You heard me? Even
Yeah.
though, yeah, the South ain't shit.
Hmm.
Let's just keep that 100. But regardless, those
Yeah.
who are from the South, they tend to
That's
love the
right.
South.
That's right. That's right.
And like we know it ain't worth a damn, but that's where our bloodline starts. That's where I was born. I'm a rip it till I
Hmm.
die.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
with stories, they tend to be, in big cities.
Hmm. That's right. That's
Uh,
right.
New York, California, any of the big cities in California, Atlanta, but Atlanta's the South. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I'm like, do they even make do stories out of Mississippi?
Hmm. Yeah.
Now I
Yeah.
could talk about New Orleans all day. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? There's plenty of stories from New Orleans. Because,
Yeah.
New Orleans got all that very, 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 very much flagrant motherfucking history and lore.
Hmm.
You know, but I like to write stories about certain parts of where I lay my head because the whole South got spots
Mm.
of very much flagrant lore, just like New Orleans.
Hmm. That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
It's absolutely true.
So mostly all my stories gonna come from the be coming from the South.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just gonna be a given. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm a rep.
Yeah.
I'm a rep the SIP. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
I like when writers create their own mythos, their own like towns and the world
Mm.
building, and you starting off from scratch, and then
Hmm.
you build it up in a way that when they read it, I'm looking at it like it's right in front of me. I see and everything. I love
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
with with the city that this story is based out of, that's it's gonna be world building out his ass. Most of my stories, if you don't really know like where they located and all that stuff, it's original
Hmm.
and all. And I'm just building universes and motherfucking towns and everything right off the top of my head.
Yeah. 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 I love that. I love because I think when we talked about the imagery that's used in the story, and then you talk about New Orleans, all of that stuff connects because New Orleans is that kind of city that at nighttime, oh my God, the music, the smell of food, the culture, it just erupts from the ground all the way up. I mean, it's all
Hmm.
popping during the daytime, but it's something about nighttime
It's
in New
something about the
Orleans.
night. Well, the
Oh
night
my
is
God.
its own entity. You get what I'm
That's
saying?
and that's what the story is, Courtney. It's the same
Hmm.
way. It's the way that you characterize how nighttime is in New Orleans. That's exactly what is communicated through the story. That's what I thought. That's the one that is what I loved about the story. And the one thing I loved about the story is that you maintained that consistency throughout the entire 7 chapters of the story. I
Mm,
love that. Why did you take it? It's like it all takes place. Well, not all of it. Like when when she meets um Sharon, when she gives him the money, when she has the accident, all that takes place at night. Like I thought that when she got back into the when she got back in the car, we were gonna transition and go into another day. Why did you keep
mm-hmm.
it all in the same night?
Because time and space is wonky
That's
on the
another thing
one
you did
track
was good.
mile.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Whereas it took her, like I stated in the story, like where it took her about 2 or 3 hours to leave the city
Yes.
limits to get
Yep.
to where the port was,
Yep.
it really only took her 15 minutes to get back.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So time and space is wonky. It's its own beast.
Yeah. Hmm. I noticed that too. So I want to get into the part of the story when Beth has. Do I want to go there, or do I want to back up and start? Which one I want to do? Like I want to talk about when Beth and Sharon when they first come together and she's changing and giving him the money
Yeah.
because your ass can okay, since this is what I have noticed that has matured in your right.
What's up? Oh Lord.
Now, of
What?
course, when we're teenagers, we don't know what the hell. You used to write about, 'cause and you talked about that story you and D wrote in high school, and that
Yeah.
story y'all were kept adding more chapters, and it was all this romance. It was so good, and it was going around the school. I remember it, but get back on track.
Girl, I found one of them notebooks, bruh.
Are you serious?
I found one
Oh,
of them
that's
notebooks.
crazy. Bruh, you need to keep that and save it because you just never know. You just never know what's going to
I
happen with
found
it.
one of them notebooks, bruh. Go ahead, bruh.
But the way you are able to describe energy between people, the way you describe how someone looks at each other, the passion, the attraction, like you write it in a way where it's so descriptive. Like you can feel the intensity between Beth and Sharon. Like you feel it. You know it's intense. You know it's something really, really strong there. And I like the way you write about it without actually saying it. It's like you really get it's like you can feel it. I love that. And I think that you have matured in how you have made describe those connection between your
So,
characters really, really well.
yeah, like the show and tell, show but not tell.
Yeah, I thought that
That
was
took a
really, really,
minute,
really
bruh.
good.
I ain't gonna lie.
It's really, really interesting because I like the way you did that at the beginning because you knew it was something between Beth and Sharon, but you didn't realize what it was until we get further into the story. So let me get back to their first meet. So when they first
Mm,
meet, Beth seems to be nervous around. Like she told him, "I just bought a new car," and she's like, "Why did I tell him I just bought a new car?" But the crazy thing is that I love about Beth, she's a supernatural being, but she's acting just like we would act around a guy that we are
yeah,
in admiration of, or that we
yeah,
have a crush on, or that we're in love with.
yeah.
Why did you make Beth like that? Like she was still nervous, she was still fumbling, she was still, still like this woman that we all can relate to that has a thing for a fine ass man. So why did you make Beth? Why did you write her character that way?
When I was writing her, it just came like that.
Hmm.
It wasn't like I was okay. So this chick, I'm a writer, like, let's see, should I just make her act a certain way? It just, when I started writing, it just didn't seem like in her character to be any other way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Even though that she has lived for centuries,
Right.
you know, hell, you been in love with this motherfucker for that the goddamn long and whatever kind
Mhm.
of complicated history y'all got between the two of y'all.
Yeah.
Regardless, you had to think like as soon as you see them, you get butterflies, and you be like, why,
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
why?
Mhm.
Like, bruh, I been knowed you, but it still happens,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and it just seemed natural with her
Mhm.
that that's how she would act.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you know, it goes to show you, like I guess like this web he has around her. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I know you probably gonna speak on this, like with even though with Sharon, you really don't. He really doesn't show any other emotion, like
Yeah.
outright.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
like have to pay attention. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
like certain things, certain quirks he has, certain things he does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just
Why
didn't
you think?
seem natural to write her in it any other way. You know, for her to
I
put up a front. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. To me, Beth, um, I know she's supernatural. I know all, as we go through the story, but for me, I related to Beth because she did have the butterflies, and that you're dealing with someone that you can't really be with, but still you go through all those emotions and everything that is. But when she has the accident in the middle of the street, and she tells the I don't know what you want to call this thing, the monster, the creature, the thing that's on the and that she runs over, that she
mm-hmm,
hit, and she says, "I've never." What was the thing she said, Courtney? She's never missed.
a
She said
toll.
a toll. To me, I took that as, oh, this bitch is a badass career woman, because it's like, don't be telling me that my business is not together. I took it like that. Like, she became so natural to me. I forgot that she was supernatural. I love
Mm-hmm.
the humanity that you gave her throughout the entire story. I love it, and I can't wait to see how she continues to grow in the book. But I love the humanity that you give. It's like you straddle these fences throughout the entire story. It's like Beth is supernatural, but she also has these really human elements to it. The butterflies, and her being really, really um, protective about her role as a courier, and
Mm-hmm.
then also how the line you walk around darkness, and around the fact that everyone lives out open in the darkness, still there are secrets and things that are hidden in the darkness. I like the way you kind of, it's almost like you had a coin of two faces throughout this entire story.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like it just came out that way, or is it because of the genres that you kind of straddle, like fantasy, romance, horror. You conflate all those too. So I just wonder, is that the reason why your story end up being the same
It probably is. You know, cause like I love horror.
way? Mm-hmm.
I love fantasy, urban settings, or anything. Listen, the noir, that's a genre. I love that. Southern Gothic, I love all of that. So my stories tend to reflect that. And it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like it's at a crossroads, right in the
Mm-hmm.
middle.
Mm-hmm.
And you got all these different streets, all these different lanes, and they represent these genres. So
Mm-hmm.
if I step off of one, it's always going to overlap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that tends to be, that tends what happens with my writing and stuff.
Yeah. That's just talent. That's just an intrinsic part of your writing. I think it's really, really dope. And then let's get into the monster in the street. She's going down the street, and she hit this pale face thing in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sharon shows up, and so on and so forth. Tell me, describe. I don't know how much you want to give away, and I don't know how much of it you want to tell, or is it meant for the reader's interpretation. But what does that monster supposed to signify in the story for Sharon and for Beth?
The monster signifies a change. The monster
Mm-hmm.
signifies there's something bigger and way worse than Sharon and he has ever seen. Now, mind you, he's the ferryman, or you could call him a reaper.
Mm-hmm.
He's deaf. So you have to think, what could be worse than that? It's just
Mm-hmm.
like the little it's the warning before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that monster signifies. It's something bigger coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna fuck up so much shit.
I know that's that. Okay, that kind of sets the stage for the rest of the story because that month is when she leaves Sharon. She gets in the car and she's driving and she has the accident. Then Sharon comes. That changes the whole trajectory of the story because at the beginning when you're reading it, it's like, okay, is this thing going on with Sharon? They can't be together. You kind of like, okay, we're gonna move on to something else in the story. But no, it brings them back together, but tell but break down why is it forbidden for them to be together? Or not forbidden, but why is there this wall or this bridge between them that keeps them from being together? That Sharon is so hesitant by being with Beth, them being together and all this stuff. Why is there a separation? It's because he's a reaper and she's a courier. What is the thing there? Or is that something
And
for us to figure out later?
y'all gonna have to figure that out. I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you once we get off here, but yeah, y'all gonna have to figure that out.
because that monster changes everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It flips the whole script around. Where for me, I mean,
Mhm.
you already know because you kind of got an idea how the story's gonna roll. But for me, when she like, I got some vodka in the refrigerator, I'm like, okay, we got to go home. And then this happens. But to me, I'm gonna say what that monster signifies to me.
Okay, what it signifies to you?
For me, because it switches things around so much, and then it creates a space for Sharon to show up and for them to have a moment together. Is that in life itself, you can be going about your way, driving down the street, living your life. Something happens in an instant and changes your whole life
Mhm.
without even thinking, without even blinking. You think you about to go do one thing, then something happens and completely switches your whole life trajectory, and your whole life is completely in a whole nother direction than you thought it was 5 minutes ago.
Mhm.
And I love that part of the story. And I think you spent just enough time on it too. Um,
I'm glad you thought that, cause to be honest, I did have a longer version, but
mhm.
when I was, editing, cutting shit down and all that stuff, and I just
Yeah,
read out like,
yeah, yeah.
no,
I thought
I'm
it
gonna
was
need this to
just
be
enough.
kind of fast paced for a reason.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I think you did a wonderful job in that. But I want to get back to when Beth has the accident,
mhm,
and then Sharon shows up and he protects her. I don't want to say he saves her, but he protects her. Um, and his brother and sister show up.
mhm,
Now, this is what I love. I love that his brother and his sister showed up.
uh-huh.
But to me, okay, now I'm gonna go. I don't know. I may be off track, but you, if I'm not, if I am, bring me back.
All right,
When his brother and sister show up, and tell me their name because I don't know if I'm pronouncing right. Is it Jinx,
Jix,
Jix, and what's the other sister name?
Zadai.
Okay, when they show up, Courtney, I was like, I love the sense of family. I love the sense of unity. I love the fact that these spirits, these supernatural beings are so connected that he showed up right at the right time. You think that he's gone. You think that he's gone away. But
Mhm,
he is still they're still lingering around. So when danger shows up, they show up. And to me, that represents again, you know, the value of being from the South. Like it's that camaraderie, it's that family, it's that sense of responsibility to each other.
Mhm.
So tell me why did you have the brother and sister show up with Sharon when Beth had the accident instead of just being Sharon by himself?
I did it because okay, so when like okay, so Engine is based off of one shot, basically
Mm-hmm.
a one chapter, and that was like some years back when I wrote
Yeah.
it. So when I was thinking about, basically making it into a book, to a series, I was like, Sharon, he's a reaper, and he could be lonely
Right.
and all and everything, but what if he's not?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what if he has family?
Mm-hmm.
And it's ain't not, and it's not family by blood, but it's family by circumstance. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's more tighter than blood.
That's right. That's
So
right.
like with these siblings, like how would they act? What would they do? Cause siblings, they could be all different type of ways. They could be bitches.
Mm-hmm.
They could be distant. They could be ones that latch on to you, fuck with you, or anything like that. But I knew that I was going to introduce his siblings, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and what I wanted to do just to introduce them, but not say that much about them, just to let you know, oh, it's more coming. It's
Mm-hmm.
more coming.
That's right.
You know, it's
That's
just
right.
like a quick, introduction and everything. And like say, like you say, we Southern motherfuckers. It's all about family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hell, you know how many motherfucking cousins I got? We ain't even kin. It,
I know. I
do you know how
know.
many play cousins we got?
I know.
How many aunties we got? But
I
they
know.
ain't that, and they ain't no they ain't no sibling in our parents and shit. So
I know. I know. I know. But I've noticed that that is a theme in a lot of your stories. Is that when you do those stories, especially talking about the supernatural, that those spirits are always a kindred, always have kindred spirits always around them. It's always a tribe or a tribe like feel
yeah,
with the
cause
stories that you create.
my thing has always been that it's almost like a pack mentality, like a wolf pack
Hmm.
mentality. And
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You're only as powerful as your goddamn pack. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? The loner, the person who's basically by itself and all that stuff. That's cool and everything, but that never really held any kind of appeal to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
That's real.
So yeah, Sharon got motherfucking siblings.
Yeah, I love that. I love that when Beth got hurt, everybody showed up. Like, what the heck? What we got to do? I love that. That I thought that was really really cool. Another human element I thought that you took into the super that transition into the supernatural realm. Um, Now we're gonna get into.
Oh Lord, what? I need to. Well, let me ask you this. While you ask me all the questions, what you thought about Sharon? Cause I can listen. I asked Kathy, and Kathy got quiet. So I'm like, what the hell? Like,
I don't know. Well, he must have that effect on people because the way you write him, I'm picturing this 6'7", 7 foot, big, fine Morris Chestnut type brother that's just you be like, oh God, take me with you. So, but okay, now I'm gonna go in a couple directions with your
go ahead, go
characterization
ahead.
of, with my characterization of Sharon.
Mm,
Okay, so as a super well, because you straddle the line between supernatural and the human world a lot. Like you mesh those characteristics, almost like those characteristics of someone. Um, Sharon to me represented how black masculinity is characterized: being strong, not showing a lot of emotion, maintaining composure, being really careful about their feelings, being protective, being focused on what their role is and what their purpose is. Uh, but when he has to save Beth's life, he strips himself of that and completely becomes fully vulnerable so he can save her life.
Mm.
And then but that's to me represented black men, how they're characterized. Is that when they're on the outside facing, they are completely focused, composed, strong. They love you, but they never show it. So you never know where you
Mm.
stand with them. But when her life was in danger, he let all that stuff go. But even that took some coaching from his siblings, from his tribe. Like it's okay to let go and save this woman's life. It's okay to be vulnerable and save this woman's life. So I like the fact that he had these women that was telling him it's okay. You'll still be safe. You'll still be who you are. You're not gonna lose your character. You're not gonna lose yourself by being vulnerable. So I love that. I love the dimensions that you show in just 7 fucking chapters. You see what I'm saying? 7 fucking chapters. Because even when in intimacy, when it comes down to sex, men can still maintain that same stoic type approach. You know what I'm saying? It can still be really still, not show emotion. Just because they're having sex doesn't mean that they automatically become emotional.
Yeah.
They can still, whether they love you or not. So I love that. But he knew that he had to save her life. And I love that part. But to me, what it seemed like to me that um after the sexual encounter that they have, he almost it felt to me that he did feel um not that he regretted it, but it's the feeling that you feel when you take your clothes off and someone sees you completely nude. It's
Mm.
like you still feel uncomfortable. It just feels because I don't know. It still felt and I like that part about him too. It's like I knew I had to do it, but it just feels like I've opened up my heart to something, and I know this is gonna be a weight to carry. And this is like I did what I was trying to avoid all these years.
Mm-hmm.
It's real, real deep, and 7 fucking chapters. So I like that about him. But the dope part about the story was when who was that? His sister that asked her if she wanted to forget.
That was the sister. That was a night.
Okay, she asked him if she wanted to forget, and she said no. It's not fair that he carried this by himself. I said, God damn it, this some shit. Black women, supernatural, natural, is never gonna let a man they love, carry a weight by themselves. Courtney Giddens, tell me this:
What
when
girl?
you are correct, because this is what fucked me up. Now, I did not realize that she was supernatural until she had the accident, and his sister said, "You know, Beth is not human." I was like, "She ain't human." What? Because you humanized her so much. What? I'm
You
keep
didn't
going
even
back
pay
to this.
attention. Did you even notice, like, when she was saying, she was talking like, even though she has lived many
I
lifetimes?
I got all that, but when she gets with, cause this is my way of thinking, right? When
Yeah.
she sees Sharon and she got the butterflies and she's like, "Oh, I bought a new car," and she's like, "Why the hell I tell this fool I just bought a new car? That's stupid." Um, I was like, that was because you gave her so many human elements.
Mm-hmm.
You forget. And then I was reminded when she said, "You know, Beth is not human."
Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder. Because I'm thinking supernatural, we about to be, that kind of stuff doesn't happen. You think in the supernatural world, you don't have heartache, you don't have pain,
You
you don't
all
have,
powerful.
yeah.
You don't
Why
show no
did you
weakness. See,
why,
that's
why
the
did you do
thing.
that? Why did you do that?
See,
Why did
that's
you break that facade against the enemy?
because listen, you know how many stories and books I've read, and like the heroine or whatever be
Mm-hmm.
supernatural, and that mug either they be a Bessie Sue, so
Mm-hmm.
powerful and clueless or whatever, or they be a goddamn invulnerable superwoman, and they just they have no weakness. They
Mm-hmm.
perfect in everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
just only one facade,
Mm-hmm.
and I like it it's not natural like that. Even though when you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with something that is maybe out of the realm of your motherfucking reasoning or understanding,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, she
Yeah.
has lived many centuries. She has seen many things. And guess what? She still could have crushes.
Mm-hmm.
And she could still have what word farts or whatever, just say shit off the top and like, God damn it, why the fuck I said that?
Mm-hmm.
And still have shy moments. Even in
Mm-hmm.
front of the dude that, she has love for all of those centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it's just a part of her humanity that she still holds. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's deep. That's really deep. Why are your sex scenes so intense? That shit was like that shit started in chapter 6 and that shit continued on in chapter 7. I was
Bruh,
like,
listen.
I mean, you just go full fledged balls against the wall. Why do you? I know he's trying to save a life. But I like, damn, Courtney. Why are your scenes so motherfucking intense?
Dude, but bruh. He ain't had none of her in a minute.
Well, that is true.
So he was gonna have to take all he could.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was just gonna have to tie him over for however more centuries he think he gonna have to be without her.
Why did you want to utilize sex as the way for him to heal her from the poison, the death that was in her body?
Because that type of physical contact needed. It was needed.
Mm.
I wanted to be dead. Not that the fact that I was gonna add a fuck scene anyway, excuse the language or whatnot, but there's a reason why that was the only way.
Mm-hmm.
And further along in the series, y'all will see.
But you know what I liked about that part? Although it's intense as hell. Um, when she gets up the next day and she talks to the her spirit sisters and find out they was all looking and shit. I was like, what the hell? It was just a show. But this is what I liked about it was uh, you didn't allow it to be superficial. You maintained their connection that you saw at the beginning, where she's nervous. He's concerned for her when he's asking her, you know, aren't you tired yet? When he comes and he sees that she's been hurt by the monster in the street and
Mhm.
trying to save her life and all that stuff. It all that translates into the love scene between the two.
Mhm.
I like the fact that you added depth to that scene, that it wasn't just two people they
Busting
passionate
nuts.
and
Just the
yeah,
bust
but
nuts.
it had purpose to
It
it.
had
It had
purpose.
intimacy to it. It had passion to it. It had love to it. It had intensity to it. It had everything you could think of. Like it had all the things around them, lusting for each other, but it had a deeper and purpose around it,
Mhm.
and it was spiritual too, because one, they're two supernatural beings,
Mhm.
um, but they're also two people that love each other. I like I like that. The way that you characterize that scene. Why did you want to take your time and create a scene like that? And why did you think it was important to show that the spirit sisters or the spirit beings were also in witness of this? And it wasn't something that came across as being, you know, freaky or something, or or, something that was like a peeping tom, or wasn't something that
Yeah.
was, what I'm saying, like it just all connected. Why did
I
you
wanted
write
I
it like
wanted
that?
that scene to have meaning due to the fact of those two characters. Due to the fact
Mm-hmm.
that they do have all that history and due to the fact that
Mm, mm-hmm.
it will be repercussions for that.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like this. There's just a chance they're gonna have to take,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
regardless. And it be plenty of times, you read certain books and all that stuff like that. And even if it's like a book, it could be a straight up erotica book. Just
Mm-hmm.
straight up. And you know that the main thing is gonna be fucking. But y'all just fucking to be fucking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, yeah, we know they attracted to each other and yeah, but what's the context though, bruh?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
It's just like it has been a long while since they had any, them
Mm-hmm.
two. And some shit went down because of that. So
Yeah.
regardless of that, it still needed
Yeah.
to be done.
Yeah.
And with that, it's just like right before they got, you know, bouncing headboards and shit. What was the last thing he said to her? You
What do you
remember?
say? What do you say?
He said, "Please remember."
That's right. That is. Oh, that was deep. That's beautiful. It's a lot of
Cause,
one-liners you have in your story, Courtney. That
hmm,
means so. You have a lot of lines in your story that are
hmm,
short, but damn, they have a lot of weight. When you say "please remember," or um, "aren't you tired yet?" or "do you want to forget?" When when his sister asked her that,
hmm.
it's like they're really short sentences, but damn, they have so much weight to them. It's
Thank
almost
you.
like if you would have added more to it, it would have lost its edge. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have
Hmm.
turned into this long ass soliloquy. It just would
Like,
have,
listen, I can
but
get
just
poetic like a mug.
one.
I can get long with
I
long
know, but
wind
that
like
was
a trumpet.
enough though.
Huh?
But it was just now when she says, "No, I don't want to forget. It's not fair for him to carry it by himself," and that was it. That was
Mm,
it. It wasn't like because I love him and I don't want to be nobody else. Like it didn't go into it.
no.
Like we ain't run out of track with it. Like she said, I that was I was like shit. That's deep. That's some
I
deep
just
shit.
wanted to, I just wanted to show and tell. I want to show how she truly felt for him. And so she was willing to remember,
Mm-hmm.
even though her sister gave her that, her sister, his sister said, like, do you want to forget or do you want to remember? Gave her
Mm-hmm.
that choice, even though she knows, Thomas today, she knows it's going to be some fuck shit behind that shit.
Yeah, but today tell Sharon that she's going to forget.
Yeah, she lied to him.
He did not tell Sharon that she was going to have a choice to remember or forget. He told her that don't worry, she won't remember it anyway.
Hmm.
I like that's a sister for you though. Oh boy, that's what we do.
And
That's what we do.
she, with her, she might say like she likes to pick with him, but she loves her brother.
Yeah, it's real deep. Why
And
only
guess
seven
what,
chapters?
bruh? And guess
Mhm.
what? That's like the first sex scene I've written in over 2.5 years.
Are you serious, baby? For everybody listening, for everybody that is listening, this bitch can write a love scene to have your ass need to go and pray because it is just deep.
That was the first in 2.5 years, nigga.
Lord have
After I wrote it, like I wrote it down in a notebook and everything. After I wrote it and I read it back, I said, God damn.
yeah, it's some shit. It's some shit.
I said, "Oh, either I need some or you ain't lost it." I was like, well, look at God. I was like,
It's absolutely it's real real cool.
and then the
There's
thing
stories
about
that
it, it
people do.
was longer, bruh. It was way wrong to you, and I was like, no, they ain't ready for that.
No, the editing was good. I liked it. I
I was
really
like, no,
really did.
y'all ain't ready for that.
Saying less is more. I love that. Why only 7 chapters, Courtney?
Why? Well, damn, bro. Why you ask me like that?
I'm just asking. I just wonder
You
why
ask
did you
like, why
stop
seven
at
chapter
7?
part?
Was it significant that you stopped at 7, or you just felt like the story
I
that
felt
part
like
of the
that
story had to
that
stop?
that point in that timeline needed to end right then.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's an introduction into
yeah.
that universe, and I just wanted to end right then. I left it open.
Hmm.
It's not a happily ever after. It's not even a happy for now.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a to be continued. True enough,
Hmm.
but I wanted to end it right there. And then in 7 chapters, I'm superstitious. I believe in odd numbers.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm gonna let y'all know
Yeah.
if I write something 9 times out of 10, them chapters gonna be odd numbers.
Hmm.
That's just how I am. But
Fair
I
enough.
wanted to end it there as a good stopping and jumping off point.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
Cause when we get into the next one and all that stuff, it's gonna be some mess.
Yeah. I can't wait till the next one. I think the other thing I love about your writing, um, I just love to see just beautiful, strong, flawed, perfect Southern black characters come off the page, man. I mean, it's just you don't get that a lot. The way you mix up all your genres together, I love it. I love that. Um, the way you create these really strong chapters that are really, really unapologetic black. I love the way you describe people's hair, their skin tone, um, the way you describe the surrounding, the way you always surround it. You always keep it, grounded in the South. I love that. I think that's why do you all, but you always do a thing. You always are really detailed around describing somebody's hair, their texture, whether they have lights, locks, or whether it's long, or whatever the case may be. Why do you always do that? You are always really, really descriptive around how women wear their hair and the way they may wear different hairdresses or whatever.
Because you know how we are about our hair.
Hmm.
It's so much significance behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you could go back to the history of it, and
Hmm.
especially dealing with certain aspects of our hair, and how we couldn't wear it out, and the chiffon laws, and us, our ancestors braiding our hair in certain ways, just basically showing routes to freedom or hiding seeds from the motherland to bring forth over here. Where y'all thought we got okra from? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's so much, we put so much importance in our hair,
Hmm.
and with me, my hair has been everything under the sun
Yes,
and own self.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of the characters they gonna have wig units, parents. Some hair gonna have some folks hair gonna be wavy, curly, fro, lock, nappy as the motherfucker, faded, bald head. It don't matter at all. It's just that aspect of us that I really like describing, and I make sure every character I have, their hair is gonna be their own motherfucking. It's gonna be like that. That red dot or that red little balloon on top of them and say, who exactly who this is just by their
Mhm.
hair.
Mhm. Mhm.
or
Yeah.
something, or things like yeah, 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 things like that. Cause you could tell, like, come on, bruh. Okay, so some years back, I used to have a fro, and my fro was all colors. Anybody who say, "See, I saw your friend who the one with the rainbow bright polka dot afro," good, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, that,
Yeah. Absolutely.
you know, and it's just so it's a part of us. So why not write about it?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I like that you always capture that in your stories. Um, so as we getting close to the end, and so right, so all the viewers know, the listeners, is there going to be another installation of this anytime
Mm-mm.
soon, or we
Yes,
gonna have
I'm
to
working
wait?
on it.
Courtney,
What girl?
Courtney. Yes, so I want everybody to know. So this person here, she'll give you a story. It'll be dope. She'll whet your wet appetite. You'll be like, okay, when we gonna get the next one? Whoop, whoop. And then she'll drop another one on you. You'll be like, wait a minute, what's this? It'll be a whole nother story. And then she get you all excited about that. And then she drop another one on you. You'd be like, nigga, when you gonna? I thought we were gonna add on to the series. So I won't be surprised if she drop a whole new story, leave us salivating over engine, give us some more good shit, get us all excited about that one, and then she drops some more shit. So I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna wait, see what happens. Um, but I want to say, nigga, this was really great. I really, really enjoyed this. 7 chapters, lot of growth with the characters, lot of hidden jewels. I think you need to read it at least 2 or 3 times because it's different stuff that you'll notice every time you read it. It's really good, dog. I like the editing. I love the colors you use. I love the historical elements around it was just really good. I just want to congratulate you on a really, really tight story. It was really good. I think seven at first when I read it, I was like, 7 chapters, that's it, damn. But now that me and you talked about it, I'm like, yeah, it was just right. You did it just right.
I was wondering because listen, at first it was number 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started writing some more and everything, stretching it out and stuff like that. And then it got to 7. It was shorter than that, girl.
Yeah, it's good. I
So
think you need to be proud of yourself on this one.
I'm very proud. I'm just glad that I was able to do that. You know, it
Yeah,
was just it was
it's
something that I
great.
wanted. I've been wanting to do for years. And
Yeah.
then when I finally just did it and everything, and I'm just looking at it, and I read it again
Mm-hmm.
before we started this live, and I was like, well, look at that.
Yeah. 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 It's really, really it's awesome. It's awesome. I can't wait till you do the next one. Hopefully when you do the next one, we do this again. And I encourage everybody who has not read it to please go on Kindle or go on Amazon, download it, read it. It's 7 chapters. You're done with it before you even start. It's awesome. It's a good read. And homie, I'm just proud of you. It's good
Thank
shit.
you. Thank you, bruh.
All right. So the cool below, I am out. I am done. Courtney, you got any? This is your show, so how you gonna set us out?
Um, Engine by Stella J. It's
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon. Get
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you enjoy it.
Is there?
Leave a review.
You
Tell your
do.
friends
Amen.
and all of those good things.
That's right.
And my bestie, she will be dropping a podcast soon. I will keep y'all up to date. Ain't that right?
Yes, yes, it's coming soon, coming soon.
Hmm. And so that's it, heathens. Like, share, subscribe. Uh, I'll holler at y'all later. And I'm gonna do a review for The Cleansing. That's a horror movie. See, I know you ain't down for horror movies.
Absolutely.
So that will be coming sometime this week. So I'm gonna holler at y'all heathens. Y'all be good. Bye.